7 or 8 years ago, I did a video on the prefix PRO, and I gave closure as to why it's a particle of negation. And at the time that I made the video, it took a lot of effort and research to get that closure on PRO. And recently, I got a viewer comment where someone was saying that they felt from their research that PRO as used in professor would not be a particle of negation. And they wanted me to basically, I guess, explain my position as to why it would be credentialed as a particle of negation, specifically in the word professor. And so I'm more than happy to do that, of course, because I realize that this is an area that is maybe a bit difficult for folks doing research. When we look at words and word particles, how do we credential what a word particle is? One way to do it is to use syllables. For example, the word professor right here, profess-or. There are 3 syllables in that word. So that means that pro would be considered a particle, fess would be another particle, and an or would be another particle. So to parse the word, you would find out what each word particle of the 3 particles, what they all mean. All right? So what they're doing here is they're saying see profess. It doesn't really give you much data on or. So you have to take it upon yourself to go that extra mile and do your own research. So how would I look up what OR means so I know for sure? I would do this. I would put a hyphen OR and then click search. So what is it? Word forming element, nouns of quality, state, condition. So what that means basically is contract. It's what we would call a contract particle. So OR means contract. So whatever profess means, whatever those 2 particles mean, OR is a contract with them. So now let's click on profess and follow that continuance of the evidence. So what we're doing here is etymology work. So we're looking to find out what the particle PRO means and what the particle FESS means, so we can have full closure on the word. When we look up PRO as a prefix, we get a bunch of data here. Okay? It means forward, forth, towards the front, beforehand, in advance. That's a red flag. That's a particle of negation. It's negating the now space. It's negating the continuum. All right, so we have several choices here. So here we're saying Latin pro, adverb, preposition in Latin. So those are non-tangible contract. Those are no contract conditions of state. On behalf of, in place of, before, in exchange for. So it's not the thing. It's on behalf of the thing. It's in place of the thing. It's not the actual thing. Particle of negation. Uses the first element in compounds and has collateral form POR. Also, in some cases, from cognate Greek pro, before, in front of, sooner. Another red flag to put in the no contract column. As in problem, both Latin and Greek words are from Pi-root, PRO. So Pi-root, PRO, that's one of the earliest nativity root meanings. Sanskrit, definitely 100% tangible root meaning of the word, before, forward, forth. Now, that's as far as I would really need to go to know this. The particle pro is separated from the word fess. So it is credentialed as its own particle. And we have just gone to the earliest nativity root meaning. Proto-Indo-European and Sanskrit. Now they're giving these other meanings, like here it says extended form of root PER, but we're not looking for extended form in this case. We're looking for the form, which here it says source, Sanskrit, PRA, before, forward, forth. So there you have it. That is why PRO is credentialed as a particle of negation. It doesn't matter what word you're using it in. If PRO is credentialed, there's nothing that I see in an etymology dictionary that would say otherwise. There's overwhelming evidence that it is a particle of negation. Now, it's one of those muddy areas for sure. But this is part of parse work. Okay, what we normally do, and most stuff is cut and dried. But we look through something like this, right? We look through the etymology dictionary. We start at a starting point, and then we follow the continuance of the evidence. And we have two columns. We have, is it a particle of negation or is it not a particle of negation in this scenario? And so the overwhelming evidence is in the particle of negation column. Therefore, I would parse this as a particle of negation, and I do, and I have for 9 years, and this is my closure on it. And so if anyone else wants to use PRO as a positive performance, then they would have to show their evidence for it and how they determine that evidence. Now, knowing what I know about this right now and what I just showed you, of course someone can use the word professor in their correct sentence structure contract if they have closure on the grammar, which most folks don't. But they could conceivably do that and put that in their dictionary if they wanted to. The issue comes when you want to contract with someone using that word, professor, for example. I know I'm not going to contract with you if you're using that word for the very reasons that I put in this video, because PRO means no. So this word professor basically means this. PRO means no, fess means to speak, and OR is contract. So professor is a contract with no speaking. There you have it, Don John Swaggart. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you, as well as anyone else out there who has a serious interest in correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, would consider contacting me at jasonmatthewg17@gmail.com and applying for workshops and actually learning this stuff so that you can get the answers to this yourself. Although I'm grateful for the opportunity to make this video, to give this closure and share it with you and the world, it's always good to have it for yourself, because what's the saying? It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Thanks for watching. Que sera, sera.